Welcome to Totally Talent Podcast by HR.com, your go-to source for all things talent. Whether you're looking for expert insights on high-volume hiring, the latest trends in recruitment technology, or strategies for building a winning team, we've got you covered. Join us for each episode as we dive deep into the challenges and opportunities shaping the talent landscape today. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, Mike Wood here for Totally Talent, and look who I found. I found Marcus Mossberger from Lytics. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing, Mike?
I've never met you in person, but
right.
This is great. I had him on the podcast, if you remember, maybe like 2 months ago, and this is great. So what do you think? This is your first Unleashed, right?
This is my very first time here.
And what do you think?
Yeah, it's been great. Some pretty big names, right? So I got to see Josh Person this morning. Amy Edmondson was really good. Peter, I don't remember his last name. He wrote The Uncertainty Principle.
We'll say he's good too.
He was fantastic. He was
memorable.
So good. Yeah, I just couldn't remember his last name, but yeah, it's been a good show. It's a good crowd in terms of the caliber of people here. Lots of great vendors. So yeah, it's been worth the trip.
And so remind our listeners, what is Lytics doing?
So Lytics, just think of the name, analytics, right? So HR analytics, but we really do well in strategic workforce planning. So that's kind of our niche.
Nice. So I was talking to somebody who does learning right now, and I know I cover particularly like TA, but everything's kind of molding together. I feel like we started out in these big silos, and then every so often we're moving a little closer. So the workforce planning that's happening now is, I think, going to be even more valuable with as hiring goes down, because we've seen that hiring numbers have gone down.
Yeah, it's very true. What's interesting is our friends at Gartner have suggested that 86% of organizations do not do any form of workforce planning, especially the strategic kind. And so what I think we're going to start to see, in addition to some of the dwindling employment numbers, is obviously AI is becoming a lot more prominent. Understanding the AI exposure rates inside of the roles in your organizations, how many of those roles will be automated or the individual tasks augmented in some shape or way or form. So that'll probably be the impetus for a lot of organizations that have never done strategic workforce planning to actually start it. Plus, we're going to try to make it super easy.
Good. Yeah. So one of the things we were talking about right before I hit record was that, my eyes glaze over when I'm in that expo hall. There's so many different vendors, especially in TA, that all claim to be doing the exact same thing. As a CMO or market strategy officer, how do you navigate that? How do you find your kind of niche within this crowded space?
Yeah, it's not easy. I think the most important thing that we can do is just to be authentic. So you see a lot of the same kind of talk track out there, don't you?
Yep.
Right? Same terminology, the same vernacular.
They got the same marketing plan from ChatGPT.
Right. That's good. Yeah. So I think authenticity is really important. I personally think it's fun to be a little bit provocative. Let me give you an example. One of the big things that I think the HR profession needs to do starting now is to start taking risks.
Yes.
We have historically been the discipline in the organization that is attempting to mitigate risk and to avoid litigation and to make sure that people are compliant with policies and procedures. And, Amy Edmondson talked about that this morning in her talk about how we have got to be more innovative. And that means taking risks. Being creative means you're going to fail, probably frequently. And I think we need to start doing that more in this profession.
Well, and think about how if you using AI to get to that general sameness or the least common denominator, what becomes more valuable is those people that kind of stick out a little bit. Like I remember, I saw you. I haven't seen you in 2 months, but I remember you were working on something having to do with hope.
Yeah.
And that stayed with me because it's different. You're not like every other person I walk. If you want to give a cool plug, tell me what you're doing with hope.
Yeah. So the hope thing is one of those things. It's funny. I just had somebody on my podcast a couple of weeks ago. It'll be coming out soon. But her name's Mimi Nicklin, and she talks about empathy. And again, that's something that you don't hear a lot of people talking about in the corporate landscape.
Yeah.
And so hope is one of those topics for me that I don't hear a lot of people talking about.
Because there is no hope.
Well,
have you seen who's president?
Yeah, that's the challenge too, is that people are not experiencing hope, especially in the context of work. And so, way back in the day, I went to the University of Kansas and I studied the psychology of hope. under a professor named Rick Snyder. I didn't know at the time he was like the godfather of hope. And I just fell in love with it. And a few years ago, I went back to school. I was actually in London at the time, and I went to the University of Sussex, and it was a postgraduate certificate program on the psychology of kindness and well-being at work. And it just brought back this flood of memories of how important hope is. And so I decided to create a Hope at Work newsletter, a Hope at Work podcast. I have a workplace hope assessment. And all of this is just a side hustle. There's no monetization at all, but it's just a reminder for us to be optimistic about the world of work and to be hopeful about what the opportunities look like. And I'm going to say one last thing, Mike.
Fine.
I personally think that the more we embrace technology, the more human our work will become and the more hopeful we'll become. It's a little bit counterintuitive to some of the narrative that you're hearing about losing jobs and all of that.
Yeah, I think hope is hard to find because things are changing so fast and they don't seem that they're changing society wise for the better.
Yeah.
But you got to have hope. You got to have hope that something will change, whatever. I like that you're doing your own thing in addition to Lytics, because I feel like this day and age with all the tools that are out there, you can do your own thing.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of strange. I don't know how many of my listeners know this, but I am trying to launch a virtual game show.
I did not know that.
I've always been a fan of game shows. So one of the people that I know in the industry her name's Jackie Clayton. We teamed up and we created this little thing called People in Squares. And so I have two people and we do a streaming trivia game, like quiz and whatever. I built it up on Lovable, and I'm going to try to scale it a little bit by having people. When you have the live show going on via streaming, people can play along on their phones or whatnot.
Wow.
Do I make any money? No, not yet. But it seems like a lot of fun. And we've done some like fun little things. So I feel like, AI allowed me to create this.
Yeah.
It allowed me to, my daughter, I have a 6-year-old, but when she was 2 through 4 and maybe still now, she used to only eat a couple things. And it was the green pouch of applesauce and yogurt tubes. And so when she started getting cranky, I would always say, oh, well, you got to be good for green pouch and yogurt tube. And then every time, oh, green pouch and yogurt tube, got to bring you to bed. And it became this whole thing. So I used AI to make a little cartoon opening for her. And the look on her face, like she's in this cartoon with green pouch and yogurt tube. Another part of my history is I worked in children's television. So
Okay.
yeah, back in the day. But
starting to connect the dots here.
Yeah, I'm a weird guy. I like to say I'm like Forrest Gump without all the different like mental problems.
Okay.
But I've had a lot of different life experiences. And I think that, there's no straight line into a career anymore.
Yeah.
Look at these AI tools, see what you can do, go to events like this, see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
You're going to see more people like me walking around with a camera.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And it's so
less annoying people.
No. It's so easy to create a side hustle now. Whether again, you attempt to monetize it or not. It's funny, in the Uber on my way here, it was a Tesla, right? And it was a self-driving Tesla. And the guy was telling me that pretty soon, apparently Tesla is going to make that whole taxi fleet come to life. And he is going to actually put his Tesla out there, self-driving, to go pick people up. So he's going to be sitting at home on the couch, and his Tesla is going to be making him money. And he's like, I'm going to buy 3 or 4 of these so that I can make even more money. So again, it's just fascinating how much the world is changing in terms of how we as people actually make a living and how we evaluate what work is and what it isn't. It's all changing. That's why shows like this are so important, because we get to be on the front edge of that.
You should have him on your Hope show.
I know,
because the self-driving car, I haven't really gotten into one yet, but if I got into one without a person into it, without that safeguard, that's got to be terrifying. I know that they have them in like San Fran and
in Phoenix. Yeah, I've seen them in Phoenix. This guy, he drove me to the airport, and this was where I live, and it was a 45-minute drive. He never touched the steering wheel. So it was amazing.
Is he like, this is the best job ever? I'm just sitting in a chair?
Totally. Yeah, sitting in a chair getting paid.
Oh, it's great. Well, we were promised flying cars, but we have,
we're getting there.
We're getting there. But thanks for joining me on the podcast yet again. Great to run into you.
No sweat. Good to see you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Totally Talent podcast by HR.com. We hope you find today's episode insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to explore more episodes and discover valuable resources at hr.com/podcasts, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference in the world of talent.